going on, everybody? Welcome back. First real video after providing an update a few days ago after 6 months of darkness on this channel. I am here to talk about Atlanta United, Arthur Cabral, a potential league record transfer, and what happens with Emmanuel Latte Lath from Middlesbrough. All of that, we're going to get into it. I thought my first video back was going to be more about, Football Manager or something evergreen around MLS, but I recorded Soccer Wise with my man David Goss earlier today, and about an hour after we got off our show, I broke the news that Atlanta United bid for Arthur Cabral, so this can't wait. Let's dive into Atlanta United and their latest big transfer news updates. All right, let's just start with the breaking news. Atlanta United have bid around $18 million for Benfica forward Arthur Cabral. Talks are still ongoing, nothing is agreed, nothing is set, nothing is definite, but it shows that Atlanta United have other targets that they're working on and are still looking to make a league record deal. Again, $18 million would indeed be a new league record fee if they are to get this deal done. There is a lot of ifs. Cabral is a 26-year-old forward who plays for Benfica. He has been peripheral in the first team. He's not a starter. He does play a lot of minutes. He has 17 goals and 4 assists in around 2,700 minutes. Though those 2,700 minutes are split across 67 appearances for the team in all competitions. This season, he's only started 2 league games and he hasn't started any Champions League games. He has 6 goals in a total of 736 minutes. All that is to say, he's productive when he's on the field. But the reason why Atlanta United have a chance to sign him is because he's not on the field all of the time. This is a player that was bought from Fiorentina for like $22 million 18 months ago. So this is around the time that if he's not playing, and there are bids coming in, they have to consider it. I'm sure Benfica would be very open to sanctioning a sale. I don't know if Arthur Cabral is convinced. Not saying that he's not, but just that's where things stand. We are very much at bid. Talks are serious, but I can't say with any certainty whether or not that the player absolutely wants to come or this is absolutely going to happen, right? So a lot to go here. In terms of a player profile, I'm both surprised but not surprised. So let me start on the part that makes a lot of sense. This is an in-prime player, 26 years old. He is somebody who has excelled in multiple leagues, and even if you don't think he's been great at Benfica, he was awesome for Fiorentina and he was awesome for Basel in Switzerland. So the MO from Garth Lagerwey and Chris Henderson is always in-prime player, somebody who has shown adaptability to excel in multiple leagues. You think Raul Ruiz-Diaz, Nico Ladero, you go on down the list. These are the types of players that the club wants to invest in. And you can look at Alexei Miranchuk, that they signed in the summer. Henderson wasn't there, but Garth Lagerwey was leading that process. And that was a player who had been at multiple big leagues and adapted to different leagues. So they were very confident he could come to MLS and be ready to go and have all of that taken care of. Miguel Almiron is obviously the other signing that they're making. He is a known commodity in Atlanta. We already know what he's like in MLS, but he's also played really well for Newcastle in England, so that one also makes sense. Again, in prime, a little bit older than Cabral, but that's my whole point. Where I'm surprised at is Atlanta United really wanted to add a lot of pace around Alexei Miranchuk because his strengths, he's a through ball artist. He's awesome technically. He's not the most physical player, but that's okay because they wanted to balance. They have Sabalo Bjanitze, who is really good in transition and really good at playing off the last shoulder. Miguel Almiron is coming in. Again, I've reported that deal is being finalized, just pending a medical, around $10 million plus add-ons. He's somebody who's an absolute killer in the open space. Like, he's going to be making defensive lines drop. I thought that was going to be the profile for a center forward as well. You look at Emmanuel Latte Lath, you look at Edouard from Crystal Palace. Those are two guys that are absolute burners. And Arthur Cabral doesn't fit that MO. He's more of like a target man type. Like if you look at his FB ref stylistic stuff, and we're going to go back to 22-23 when he was playing a lot for Fiorentina. He's in the 85th percentile of forwards in aerials, 92nd percentile in touches in the attacking penalty area, and 87th percentile in shots, and 81st in non-penalty expected goals. This is a proper center forward. This is Hugo Kuipers. It's not, Wilfried Zaha, right? And that's probably not the best example to use off the top of my head, but that's where I was going with. He's somebody who is going to need service, which they're going to get a lot from Miguel Almiron, Sabalo Bjanitze, and Alexei Miranchuk, but I was still assuming that they were going to prioritize pace in this spot. That's not to say this guy's slow, but Emmanuel Latte Lath, his elite ability outside of finishing is that pace and keeping the defense honest and everything else that goes with a high-tempo soccer style that Atlanta United want to do. Let's pause on Cabral for a second. What this means on Emmanuel Latte Lath, I'm told that deal isn't dead, but I've reported all week that they were very close. They've agreed in principle on both a contract and both a fee, but there are final details that all three parties are stuck on, and they've been stuck for a week. Atlanta has been insistent from the beginning of this process. We cannot wait for a while. We need to get these signings in. We want to get these signings in done. Miguel Marón is over the line, so now that they need a center forward. They've been waiting on Latte Lath. They're hopeful for Latte Lath, but they cannot wait any longer. They are in serious talks for Arthur Cabral. The Latte Lath deal is not dead, but they can't keep waiting. And this isn't a negotiation point. If they get a deal done for Arthur Cabral, they're going to sign him. This wasn't, hey, we're going to bid for somebody else and try to put pressure on you. Maybe that happens, but this is genuine, and they can't wait around. So that's where things sit with their DP center forward search. And again, going back to Cabral, he would fit in this team really well. I've already talked about the players around him. If you look at the big depth chart, Brooks Lennon providing service, Pedro Amador providing service, whether that's in a 4-2-3-1, which I think that they'll do, or they could also play a 3-5-2, where Alexei Miranchuk is playing as a number 10, and Miguel Marón is kind of a hybrid winger forward, where he's kind of dominating that half space, and Arthur Cabral is still playing as a pure number 9, or same thing if it's Latte Lath or somebody else. But that frees up both Pedro Amador and Brooks Lennon to get forward. Salvador Lobojanice, John A. Silva, they could play one of those wingback roles, depending on how Ronnie Deila wants to fit this team. I really like what Atlanta United has done this offseason. I really do. Mateusz Klich is an incredible signing. They're getting him for like $300,000 on the cap, something in that effect. He was a DP for the last 2 years for DC United. He played all of the time. He couldn't really carry a team. The team around him wasn't great. He's going to be in a much better spot to succeed. He should be a starter, but he doesn't always need to be. There's Tristan Mjumba, there's Bartosz Schliess, there's a couple academy kids that they have coming through. This is the perfect situation for Mateusz Klich. This playing style will fit him much better than what DC United had around him. He's still athletic enough, he can still get up and down, but he's a really good soccer player, right? DC United were high pressing, super transition, super long ball, because Christian Benteke is an absolute god in the air. I get all of that. But this fit for Mateusz Klich is much, much better for this team. Stian Gregerson, I think, has the potential to be one of the 10 best center backs in MLS. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I think that's his ceiling. He struggled with injuries, and we'll see what happens. If they go to 3 at the back, that should help stabilize the defense a little bit more, plus allow Pedro Amador and Brooks Lennon to go forward much more at the same time, which suits this team really well. Atlanta United are going to have plenty of options. Look, if it's Latte Lath up top, if it's Arthur Cabral up top, if it's Edouard, if it's a fourth target that I haven't reported or nobody knows yet, they're going to spend big money on a DP. I firmly trust Garth Lagerwey. I firmly trust Chris Henderson. This entire infrastructure and the money behind it is whoever they sign, I'm just going to blindly assume it's going to be a very good player. So Atlanta United are almost done with what they need to do this winter. The Almiron deal was huge. They're going to get close here on a center forward. When that gets done, those are the two big ones that they need to do still. They could still add more. I don't think that they're going to be done. They still have a couple moves left up their sleeves, I think, but these are the big ones, Almiron and potential DP center forward. They're still working on it. It's getting closer. This is the breaking news here from Atlanta United, Arthur Cabral. We'll see where this ends up. The European transfer window closes next week. I'm sure that's going to play a part because if Arthur Cabral is going to leave Benfica, if it's not Atlanta, he probably stays in Europe. So there's going to be interest from other teams. Latte Lath, he's not waiting for a Premier League offer. There's been some rumors in England that says, oh, he's gotten cold feet about Atlanta. That's not it. They're haggling over the final details. And if those can't get set, then he won't come and it won't happen. But he's ready, open, and willing to come to Atlanta United. We'll see what happens over the next few days because maybe a Premier League offer does come in and maybe that changes it. But they're not dragging their feet hoping for another offer. That's my understanding, at least. I feel very confident in my reporting. But that's where we are right now. Atlanta United, silly season, never stops. It's always good fun. That'll do it for me today. Quick update on Atlanta United, Arthur Cabral, Emmanuel Latte Lath, everything else that's going on. Did a little deep dive on Atlanta there. It's a quicker video. Like I said, I plan to do some FM stuff. I plan to do some other big picture MLS stuff. We'll see. That's all to be determined. Whenever I can find free time, like I did right now. Squeeze it in right here. So, appreciate you all for subscribing. For the people who haven't unsubscribed despite me putting up no videos for 6 months, I appreciate you. Again, listen to SoccerWise Podcast. Come to our Patreon. I'm in the Discord all the time. Comment here anything that you guys want to see in the near future, and hopefully I'll keep this momentum, and I'll see you again real soon.